All right, welcome to another glorious episode of the Lockdown Podcast. Here to continue to pick apart Raw, SmackDown, a little bit of NXT, a little bit of other brands just for S and Gs, just to keep the podcast fresh. Um, so we're about 2 weeks away from Elimination Chamber. The card is, I would say, it's half full essentially because we have the two Elimination Chamber matches, and then much like other, PLEs, they basically have two other simplistic matches usually. Just because when you have two big matches, especially like for Royal Rumble, they did have a couple good matches at Royal Rumble, but so we finally obviously get Jey Uso picking Gunther, which was pretty much
Also,
a foregone conclusion for anybody who watches it pretty much already kind of gathered that was going to happen. Um, I think it was kind of fun how it happened, though. I thought there was a little more pizzazz to it when, Jay comes out and does what Jay does. It's an absolute yeet madness. And so then Gunther comes out, attacks him, and basically leaves him in the ring. And then Jay says, "Hey, guess what? I choose you." So, no real surprise on that. We're still, we basically have um, 5 out of 6 of each elimination chambers filled out right now. So I would assume, I think tomorrow we have two matches. Raquel and Roxanne Perez to fill the last female, and I think it's Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, I believe. I think so. So then we'll have those cards filled out, and then we can just have nonsense for another week of really nothing to really report on because already when we already have the elimination chamber set up. And then you're like, okay, well, what do we talk about? Because everything's all filled out. Now we're just waiting for the chamber to happen. So I think it's funny to me that Liv Morgan and Raquel have been taking L's. Io Sky, Dakota Kai defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and I love that there is this continued dissension within the Judgment Day. You basically, what it seems to be is Finn is the leader, and then you have Liv and Raquel, then you have Dominic, and then the other two goons. So I think, when Dominic basically said, "Oh, we want to add a member." Now, I don't know what that means because who do you really have him replace? They could literally get rid of Carlito and I'd be fine with it and bring in someone else, but I think like there's too many roosters in the henhouse. So there's just too much going on Judgment Day, like especially because you can see Finn Balor. I feel like he's on his way out, and I think a lot of us would be like, "Good, finally," because Judgment Day is holding back Finn Balor. You know, I
yeah.
think, you know, because we know how talented and top tier Finn Balor is, and then you look at the rest of them and you're like, eh. Like when Damien was there, like, yeah, you got Finn, Damien, and Rhea that are top tier, and the rest of them are just kind of there. And like they try to continue to give relevancy to Liv Morgan, but like, her reign was subpar. Um, Really, she's had a pretty subpar career, with the exception of Judgment Day stuff right now. Would you guys disagree? Do you think really Liv Morgan has just basically kind of existed and basically had a job but didn't have a job?
No, I think she's definitely served her role in the women's division well for what it is. I think with anything this week, I'm putting all the blame on things that we don't like and things that we do like on booking and creative. So if they wanted us to have a more believable Liv Morgan, they would book her with those types of stories and those types of character changes. Otherwise, yeah, I blame creative. Creative control is out of control. Uh, you know,
It seems to be we're very complacent. And speaking of poor booking, so Lyra Valkyria won the IC title, and it's been just over a month, and they've done nothing with it.
yeah,
But they put her in a women's elimination chamber contenders. But I'm like, that's by the second time she's wrestled since she's even had the title. And it's weird that they kind of thrust her in there. And like, I'm not against her being IC title. It's just I want to see her do something with it. Because on the flip side, you have Chelsea Green, who is a constant on the show on SmackDown, where you see her wrestling and defending her title and such. But you don't. I mean, obviously, she's had that thing since November. So I mean, but like, I don't want them to have it to be 2 months into the reign before they do anything with her in regards to the title. And especially, why would you put her in an elimination chamber contender match when you're not even defending the title you have?
I think it
I
gives
still
her
say
something to do.
it's booking. They're not doing very much with her
Yeah.
because
And
she did come up from the NXT. They're slowly giving her. They're probably trying to figure out who would be a good opponent for her, what type of story they can do with her
but
with the
yeah,
title. But we all know it's WWE.
yeah. I mean, because we're still obviously, let's see what January, February, March, April. So we're still like 2 months away from WrestleMania. So like, they better get something brewing quick. Like,
Mm,
they better start developing something, because like, I feel like WrestleMania, if you don't have every title on the line, it's a miss. Like, I don't I want storyline based one-on-one matches, unless they're like top tier, like the Roman Reigns, or the Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre. Like, these top tier guys, like those belong on big ones. But like, when you don't defend, especially because they came out the gate strong with, giving the women's a secondary championship, and I feel like it's a miss at this point. Like, and that's not their fault. That's literally just WWE being shitty at booking. And it sucks, because you had so much energy and so much enthusiasm to bring these titles, and then you've done really nothing too much with it, you know, and I don't know. I mean, and it's like, we had plenty of time between when you won it in, mid-January to now, to at least have some kind of feud built, because it's like, you won it and that's cool, but like, there should have been someone in the back like, "Oh, you won that, blah blah," and like, had just a mini feud, right? Just just
right.
just good filler, but at least have
Hmm.
her be defending it, or in some capacity. But they've really done nothing with it, and like I said, we're 2 months away from WrestleMania, so I would assume we're gonna have something here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Um, Maybe we'll build to a fatal four-way at WrestleMania for the title. I don't know. Um, I feel like the more people you put in WrestleMania, the bigger it feels. Just because it's like, you don't want too many just singles, unless it's like, for like the top tier champions, right? Like,
Right.
secondary, you can throw as many as you want in there, because they're just the secondary, they're the workhorse titles. So, but so AJ Styles is back. Um, and stupid caterpillar mustache Dominic Mysterio,
No, that's
like,
porno mustache, man.
Yeah.
whatever name you want to call that, just it it
I'm just
it
waiting
looks
for it to start moving on his face.
right. I mean,
Come on, look at these damn commercials with I think it was the Pringles. The mustache pulls off. I'm waiting for it to
Oh
fly
yeah, he just pull it off like Tom Tucker's mustache. But
away.
oh, daddy, what do you do? But so we're gonna have obviously AJ Styles beat the living tar out of Dominic Mysterio tomorrow on Raw. So I feel like the Judgment Day without titles, it just seems boring. Like, you can't talk about how you run a brand. You don't run Raw or SmackDown if you have nothing. And the only people that can say they run it was like the Bloodline when they were like going and wrecking everybody and leaving 20 bodies in the ring as they leave. Like and there's gonna be dissension because if they ain't got no titles, dude, like I mean, Liv's not gonna win at Elimination Chamber. So like
No.
after that, what's the plan? Like, what's the plan going into WrestleMania? That month and a half stretch, into WrestleMania. Like, what has become of the Judgment Day? I mean, even the Bloodline really is nothing. I mean, Roman hasn't even been on the show. Tribal Chief, but he's not been there. Solo just came back, and Jacob don't need him. Like,
Facts.
Jacob Fatu is on absolute fire, and I'm, yeah, he didn't win the contenders match, so he's not going to the Elimination Chamber. But like, whatever he does and whatever they're gonna have him do, they best not miss because
Oh,
like
they
the
could
mic
mess that up
skills.
so bad. They could just, yeah, they
Yeah,
could just mess that up so bad. But yeah,
because it's like you have no Tungaloa, so it's just Tamatonga and Jacob Fatu and Solo just kind of exist, but like it's a troublesome like rope or tightrope to walk after you've lost that high caliber of a match against Roman Reigns. Like what is and he left, and I think that was the best thing for Jacob Fatu. By Solo, like, and now you give the guy a mic and he puts the fear of God in people. So
yeah,
like,
everything just seems to be so intense with him. I think what I would like to see when it comes to the women's division is someone with that same type of intensity that you wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want someone just to be damn near unhinged and be able to speak like that. Like,
right.
and maybe we're waiting on like Jade Cargill to come back so we can get that, just someone who's just off the chain.
I want a gritty Jade Cargill. Like
Yeah.
I want an angry Jade Cargill because then like it doesn't matter what she does if she's gonna go in there and wreck people and leave. Like I want that because
Yeah.
there's been all kinds of these things in these little stupid forums talking about, oh, it was just Liv Morgan and Raquel. I don't want that story. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit about that story. I want if it was Naomi or it was Bianca. That's all. That's the only people I want. Anybody else I could give a flying fook about because that's the story. Like I think that's everyone's because it's like Naomi just walks in. Oh yeah, now she's the other tag team champion. Like they were passive. They stopped having anything to do with investigating on what happened. It's just become a foresight and it's just kind of pushed under the rug and like we haven't been talking about it. Like there's been nothing, like there's been no investigation, there's been anything. It happened and then it just went just nothing.
It's just recently when we talk about SmackDown that we're starting to make a little bit of headway. So that means eventually she's going to show up. So at the soonest, it'll be Elimination Chamber.
Oh
At the latest,
man.
it'll be like right before WrestleMania. So like
I'm
that
gonna say
Friday.
if they have if they're defending their tag titles, say at WrestleMania or whatever, I'm gonna say she comes back out
And
at
screws him over.
WrestleMania and probably shows who actually attacked her
Right.
Yeah.
and tax the people that actually did it to her.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want that type of intensity. And it's not that the closest that we've gotten to it at any given time was when Alexa Bliss was doing that Fiend related
Yeah.
side story or whatever it is, where she just get unhinged and just go psycho. Like,
Yeah.
I want someone like that, but I want it to be like their vibe. That's just how they operate. And
Right.
maybe we're waiting on another call up, another person to be, developed into that person. But I did,
I mean,
I think that's what it's missing.
if I'm gonna pull anybody from NXT in the women's division, it'd be Lash Legend. And she's like, I think she doesn't need her tag team partner. I think her being independently called up and letting her cook and let her do her thing. I think I'm good with that because I don't need Jakara Jackson is like a side piece. I mean, she's there, she's talented, but like I think the real draw would be Lash Legend and let her cook and let her go out because she's tall. She's like a female Booker T. Like,
Mhm.
she has the skill set. She has, and I think letting it happen authentically, maybe someone screws her over in NXT or someone
Right.
comes down to NXT and does something to her and she comes up and just goes ham.
Yeah, I
Um,
think with that whole Lash Legend and being on the main roster and having that edge, I do remember my first couple of times looking at her. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work, Chief. I didn't think it would. But the more she just got into it and was given the opportunity to like train and grow and to work on her presentation and her in-ring skills, man, she has really, really come into her own. And I think the women's division could use someone like her on SmackDown. Um, and then on Raw, let us have a Jade Cargill that, you know, is just unhinged and cocky and a showstopper. And then eventually those two can work together. It would
well,
be
in
unfortunate that, Lash Legends partner would get left behind. However, I think that there's still opportunity for her to grow as a WWE superstar
yeah.
and for her to find really good work.
Well, in because when they came to be when like they were kind of mildly, in NXT, like getting matches and stuff like that. Their real stardom was when they were part of Metaphor, with Noam
Mhm.
Dar, Ora Mensa, and then Jakar Jackson, Lash Legend. Like, but I think the Meta Girls is a better thing. Like, I don't know what Ora Mensa's even doing, and Noam Dar, I think it got released anyways, or he's hurt. I don't know, but like, so I think them independently at the very least, I think both of them getting called up, I think wouldn't be a bad thing. But I want Lash Legend to shine. And so I think I don't wanna see, a tag team. Like, I don't wanna see another tag team come up. Like, I wanna see someone get their shine and prove to the main roster that they belong there. Now whether that's I don't know if they're doing the draft, after it was about after WrestleMania, right?
I think
I
so.
think so.
So, but
Yeah.
like with this whole trade portal thing, basically a knockoff NCAA. But like I don't know if that's going to impede having an actual draft. Um, I know there hasn't been a whole ton of wrestlers that have done the transfer thing. But like I mean, I'm not for it or against it. I'm kind of in the middle. Um, but I don't know. But so back to Raw, but so War Raiders basically they win by disqualification because obviously the stupid freaking I don't know. I like American Made, but I don't like American Made. Like I think it's funny that when they come out because they have kind of Kurt Angle-ish music and everybody is just yelling, "You suck, you suck!" Like, I think Kurt Angle has to be just grinning ear to ear when they do that. Um, but like, I mean, I like him as a faction. Okay, like they're actually talented. They're not. I mean, Ivy Nile doesn't do a ton. Chad Gable's on some kind of hiatus to learn how to fight luchadors. So now it's just kind of back to the Diamond Mine 3 again. I don't know how long Chad Gable will be going. I don't know if there's backstory to why he took a hiatus. I don't know.
You know, it
Um,
can be any reason, but it's a
oh
good
yeah,
story. They don't even need a reason. Hey, it's just in the story. Go hang out with your family, or work backstage or whatever have you. But I think in relation to Chad Gable, I saw online that he may make a AAA uh, appearance, which is a Mexican promotion, to learn the style of lucha.
yeah.
That might be comedy gold, or that might just be like, well, that was a waste of time. You know,
Pretty
Right.
much. I could see
you
I
that.
know.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it. I mean, I don't think people understand if you've never seen any kind of Lucha Underground or even like New Japan, like they wrestle different. Like the athleticism is on steroids. Like if you think watching Dragon Lee or or Legado del Fantasma, and you see like the amount of move sets that these guys have, that you're like, I don't know how you did that and make it look so clean. I don't know. But like these guys they've studied, they've done the work. They make it look so easy, but I guarantee you it's taken them years to master that
Yeah,
craft.
Oh, it
definitely.
definitely
Um
takes years.
so Man, I hate even to talk about him, but like, so CM Punk comes out and does what CM Punk does. He's like a tattooed John Cena. I've said this before. He just kind of comes out and gives the same spiel. It's a good day to be alive in blah 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 wherever they're at, and like he's getting so basic on his come out talks. Like it's kind of like, oh, I gotta deal with this again. Please, someone interrupt him.
Mhm.
So the guy I
No.
don't like, but so Logan Paul interrupts CM Punk. They have a chatter. So Logan Paul has a match against Rey Mysterio for Elimination Chamber. Now, I am the biggest hater of Logan Paul,
Oh,
but
we
like,
all knew that one.
but like the thing is that like how quick he has dedicated and learned wrestling, I respect it. Like he looks very clean in the ring. Some of the moves are crazy. Now he has this thing. Michael Cole basically kind of said, the pulverizer, I guess, and it's actually a pretty cool finisher. And as much as I loathe the guy, like I think he's becoming more polished in the ring. And his move set is honestly like creating a new guy on WWE, but like I like that he's continuing to hone it and he's continuing to get better. So, and that coming from me is a lot. So we'll just move on. But like,
I don't know.
but
I
anyway,
know. I know he's been having a little bit of a heat in the back.
well, I mean, he's gonna rustle feathers. He's a YouTuber. I mean, like it's
I know he
any
started shit. He started stuff with Tiffany and her man, because I watched an interview
yeah, I
with
seen that.
somebody with interviewing Tiffany about it.
Yeah, I seen that clip. I don't know if it's just heat creation. I don't know, but
I don't know,
Yeah.
but
so Logan defeats Rey Mysterio to qualify. So like I said, we're basically at 5 for the Elimination Chamber. You have Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and John Cena. I think it's a little bit annoying that for John Cena to have this whole comeback thing, he basically interjects himself to basically not have to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, but he hasn't even really been around. Like, I don't get how, if you're going to be on this whole farewell tour thing, like, and you're just on like a Legends schedule, like if it's your last time, I think the fans would love to see you. And it doesn't have to be every week, but it's just like he basically comes out and basically says, "Oh yeah, I'm an elimination chamber," and then like he just disappears again. Like I don't know. I don't. I've never
It's
been a
not
fan
it's
of.
not your it's not your favorite thing. However, I think it does add to the exclusivity of his time and his availability, and it does make people, you know, chomp at the bit, so to speak, to see him. And when he does finally show up, it's like such a big deal
Yeah, you
that,
get that pop. I mean,
you know,
it's the same thing with
it's,
Roman
yeah, it's an
Reigns.
undeniable pop. And also too, he's still making movies. You know, he's still doing the same thing he's been doing for the last seven, whatever year, however many
Yeah,
years it is. So, but also at the same time, if you're not really high on John Cena, it's cool. You know, it's just
and,
it's
but
it's
on
one
the
more pay-per-view or premium live event into your final premium live event, and then
well,
hey,
and we essentially have two John Cena replacements in CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. So I mean, there's enough basic glad handing company man to cover John Cena, I guess, in the sense of like what he brings.
mhm.
I mean, at this point, he's a nostalgic act. I mean, I hope he does. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'd be happy if he won a 17th, but I wouldn't be mad if he just finishes, at that 16 level with Ric Flair. I mean, it's not going to really make or break his career if he takes the 17th or not. I mean, because essentially they're already like, oh, the greatest of all time. Like everybody's saying the greatest of all time, John Cena, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I think he's already reached that pedestal without having to win the 17th. So, but, so SmackDown. So, man, I don't even know what I really want to say about SmackDown. But,
I didn't get a
so,
chance to watch it.
well,
Yeah.
so the skinny is, so again, Cody Rhodes comes out. Drew McIntyre chats in his ear. Really nothing like I don't know. Drew McIntyre is hard to read. Like he every time he feels like he's saying something nice, there's like things between the lines. But so as they're kind of finishing their conversation, here comes Jacob Fatu, and kind of says his piece too. I like the whole. I like Jacob Fatu's look. I think he just looks like a badass, and he doesn't have to do much to do it. Like his presence in the ring, literally, you're just like, this dude means business, right? And so, yeah. So let's see. So Chelsea Green and Naomi have a qualifier. And this is where I say I hate when current champions have matches for another championship. And so we already have Bianca in there. And then now Naomi defeats Chelsea Green, who, again, Chelsea Green has a freaking title. Naomi has a title. How are you going to improve the visibility of the roster if you keep on shoving the same shit down our throats with the same people all day long? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I
It's
don't,
annoying.
because we have we're already so Raquel Rodriguez is facing Roxanne Perez for that last spot, and I swear in all that's holy, if we get Raquel in that match, so now we have two tag teams and then just two other people, Bailey and essentially Bailey's essentially with Bianca Belair and Naomi. So you have 3-2, and then you have Alexa Bliss just chilling. Like and I get it.
I can see
This is
Raquel getting in.
I
I
hate
think it's
this
gonna be
particular
Roxanne.
I hate this trope. I hate this recipe. Like, if you want to, sh- like, you want to express, you want to see and show your roster, but you keep shoving the same ones. It's like, you're hurting the rest of the roster, because you could have the one person that you know you're going to have win and toss in a bunch of randos, but at least give them the opportunity to like show what they can do, especially in Elimination Chamber when it's literally caution to the wind. But now we just have the same. Wow. Like Alexa Bliss is the only one I even give a crap in this whole match. I don't care about Liv Morgan trying to go for another opportunity. I don't care about Bianca. I don't care about Naomi. Okay, Bayley I care about. So Bayley and Alexa Bliss are the only ones I give a crap. Because everybody else, they had their time. And you have like so it would be nonsense if Naomi or Bianca won. So now you're down to 4. Because it makes no sense, especially because there's WrestleMania implications to this match. So if you all have one of your tag teams in the thing, well, I guess your tag teams aren't getting defended. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't sit well. I think when you guys have been defending your titles, and that's fine. But like, I don't want you in Elimination Chamber. Like, doesn't make sense. I mean, like, what do you guys think? Like, I mean,
I don't think they should both be in it. Maybe one of them, Bianca, yeah, she should be in it. Naomi, no, I don't think she should because I think it's stupid.
You know, there's a reason why they're in there. There's got to be, I think it's just got to be like a setup. Like, so Naomi is in the Elimination Chamber. Jade Cargill comes in, attacks both Bianca and Naomi, and that sets up a feud for WrestleMania or something like that. So that would make sense that she's in there. Or yeah,
or what if one of them gets attacked before the match and Jade
Right.
takes their place? Like, that would be a fun little like kind of segue.
Yeah,
But,
it would.
you
That
know,
that would. That to me that makes more sense than that seems to be more logical than what I said. However we get, and maybe it's because Naomi has been in an elimination chamber before. I don't think you want to throw a whole bunch of new people in elimination chamber and think that the match is going to be okay.
I mean, but like,
you know,
but I mean, but like that'd be like the same thing. Like, oh, we got to have Kofi in the Royal Rumble because he's going to do a fun theatric. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get experience without having experience? Like, how am I gonna? A job wants me to have work experience, but I've never worked the job to get the experience in order to have the relevancy to get the job. So like, I think there's because you also have had people in war games. So like, you could have picked any of those war games. You've had Io Sky's been in every one of the women's war games matches. You could have thrown her in there. So like, people have been in that we've been doing the war games thing, dating back, so when NXT brought it back or whatever, and they were doing the war games and stuff like that, you have all those people that have been in those matches. So like, it's not a matter of like, well, they haven't been in an elimination chamber, but like, war games is just as gruesome, if not worse, just because you're throwing in tables and chairs and kendo sticks versus.
I think with war games, it is more structured, and walking through the dance that you're going to do at war games, it's probably a lot easier. And there's a lot, there's pros and cons to both of them as I'm talking through this. I think with Elimination Chamber, there's probably more opportunities to really get hurt because of the way that the enclosure is structured. And I don't know if they're going to change the pods this year or not, but everything's on a metal platform. With war games, it's 2 rings plus an oversized cage.
But they put the pads on the metal now. They don't. They
Yeah,
did away with that probably 2, 3, 4 years ago. Now they just have giant pads in there, so it's not metal grade anymore. So like, that's why I say
it probably is a metal grate under it, but
well, yeah, there's a metal grate underneath it, but they stuck those pads on the outside of the ring now in Elimination Chamber, so it's not as intense as in years past. And so, like, to say the severity is different, like it really isn't. I mean, it's actually less invasive. It's like a glorified cage match.
I don't know, but see, the Elimination Chambers, I've seen it in person. That fucking thing is huge.
I mean,
Yeah,
but like, I mean, so is Hell in a Cell, but like,
I would love to see a Hell in a Cell.
but like, but what I'm saying is that like, you have women that have had experience in even just, I mean, shoot, a no disqualification or street fight. Those are invasive, and plenty of people have been in those. I'm like,
right.
the point I'm making is that
Mhm.
like they could have diversified it, and they could have 2 to 3 definitive people like they've done with like the Royal Rumble. They're like, oh, we know it's gonna be these last 4 guys or these last 2 guys. Like, but like you still got to give people time to shine. And like that's my point, is that like they have a full roster of people, that would, I think, would be great in the match. I think you have high flyers that would be great in that match.
Where
And
they gonna fly
it's,
to?
I mean, off the top of the freaking cages, man. Like, even you had 1 year, I think it was, oh, Tim, you're gonna have to fact check me, but like the person that like literally crawled up into the middle of the chamber and then like came down on everybody. I think it might have. I know it probably.
If I remember correctly, I think that was
I know. I think it was a lucha, wasn't it? Though.
no, I think it was Evan Bourne.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds right. But yeah, I mean, I just want more people to have opportunities to
Yeah,
show their talent, and
yeah.
we
I
don't.
would definitely agree with that, but the people that were chosen to do this, it's got to be because there's impending stories that are going to conclude at
Right.
WrestleMania. So with that being said, I blame
If it's,
creative. I
yeah,
blame
I think.
creative. They could have done a better job. We could have
Well,
had,
and
you know,
we've
a bunch
seen
of new people.
rushed storylines before. So like it's not out of the it's not a recipe that hasn't been used a million times, and so like it's like I don't want to see the same people booked. I mean, it was bad enough when we had the 4 horsemen or 4 horsewomen with Charlotte, Becky, Sasha Banks, and I don't even know who I just said. But yeah, I mean, so when you had those, and that was like, let's say 5, 6 years ago, we had all of them just constantly getting opportunities. And then when Bianca comes along, and then Sasha Banks dips, and then Charlotte does whatever. And so like, I'm sick of having the same people get the opportunities because they have a deep roster. Like the depth charts of each roster is insane. And I think, like you said with booking, if you can't be mad, like with AOP and Paul Ellering getting released, like you guys missed that. That's not their fault. That's your fault.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
because Final Testament was a good group.
It
AOP
was.
are
It was.
monsters. Paul
Yeah.
Ellering is an absolute veteran, and you release that. That's not their fault.
And
And
it shows just how up and down creative can be. It's like some things make sense that all right, it's there's the reason why you were released. I mean, you're not getting it, or there's you come with a lot of drama that's unwanted, unscripted, and it's not necessary. Okay, there's other reasons why you get released. It's like health reasons or whatever, professional misconduct, whatever have you. Then there's other reasons that don't make sense, and it goes to show that you can't always bet on what creative is going to do, and we're getting all these usual suspects. Now let's compare this year to last year. Did
so
we have like some of the same people? You know
according to this website, so releases in January, Duke Hudson, which I thought he would have been, he would have had something for him, but and then it says February, it says Cedric Alexander, Aikman Razor, Pell Ellering, Blair Davenport, the Good Brothers, Lou Gallows and Carl Anderson, Giovanni Vinci, Isla Dawn, Elektra Lopez, and then it says due to lack of creative performance issues. Now that's like explaining it in itself. Okay, and Sonya Deville was released, well, essentially, or kind of
She's not
fired.
going to be. Yeah.
And so like the Good Brothers, like I still thought like that them and AJ Styles would have been a great faction. Like I thought the OC was a great faction. And Carl Anderson and Lou Gallows are absolute vets. They could have done something. I get Cedric Alexander. I get Blair Davenport. They could have put her back on an NXT. You know, Giovanni Vinci, yeah, as soon as he was done with Imperium, he was not valid. Isla Dawn, I don't know. You have one of the groups of, you have one of the wrestlers of Unholy Union, but not the other. So I guess someone, must have done a little bit more than the other. Elektra Lopez, I don't really care. So like, it's just crazy that it's creative's fault that they get released.
Now that I think about it, I don't think it's creative. What I think is it's upper management, and it just trickles down. Like Cedric Alexander's a workhorse. There was work for him. There was definitely work for him. If there's work for Apollo Crews, there's work for Cedric Alexander. All right. Blair Davenport, same. If there's work for,
I mean, Cedric's
half
going to AEW though.
No.
Join up with Bobby Lashley.
That will not happen. The reason
and
why
Shelton Benjamin.
The reason why that won't happen is because Cedric Alexander is married to Big Swole, who had an incredible breakup with AEW's Tony Khan because of how he was booking black talent at the time, and still is, but that's a whole nother podcast. And she is not going to let her husband work for him. So that's an out. So he's going to probably show up in TNA. Now, here is a conspiracy theory, off topic, tangent, whatever have you. Here's a conspiracy theory. I think a number of these superstars that were released could eventually end up in TNA, bolstering TNA's roster. And with the working partnership that they have with WWE, TNA could get some more revenue with these newer superstars coming in. And I think that would work for them.
It's like you're getting released from WWE, but yet you're still with WWE per se. Because
okay, all right. I had to go back and find who actually did climb the top of the Elimination Chamber. That was John Morrison that climbed and did a splash. Did a splash on Sheamus.
I miss John Morrison.
Yeah, John Morrison is more deserving of a WWE contract than The Miz. Take that as your hot take.
Take that as your hot take.
We cooking.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. If it wasn't for the WWE, The Miz would still be on MTV shucking and jiving.
Oh, and you know how high I'm on The Miz.
You know what?
But like, I get it though. But I mean, like, but the problem is that like, I don't think John Morrison's piss-offable mic skills is as good as The Miz.
Oh yeah, his mic skills are horrible.
Like,
but as an athlete, a pure athlete and professional wrestler, 10 out of 10, I would choose John Morrison over The Miz.
But like the problem is that like The Miz has like these rabbit trail storylines that I think are just funny. I mean, he doesn't really wrestle that often essentially anymore, but like he has enough backstage segments to just be filler.
We have R-Truth. We don't need any more funny.
Oh, R-Truth.
So yeah,
I'm sorry, dude. I don't think anybody can make anybody break character as much as R-Truth.
Exactly. You know what?
Like, or actually, so Santino was at NXT, but he's the whatever commander or something of like TNA or something like that, and but anyways, go on. Dead space. But But I would thought you were gonna keep talking about R-Truth, so I was
You
like,
know
"Oh,
what?
I'll
No,
just stop
I don't.
talking."
I don't. Our truth is such a treasure. I can just say our truth,
Oh,
and
dude.
we all know.
You just need to make a shirt say our true for champion.
You know what? Don't
You
tempt
know
me.
what? I can make that happen.
I can too.
I
I
can put it
can.
up. You know what? I'll put it on the podcast shop, man. I'll just be like,
Yeah.
R-Truth for champion, man.
And then next time we go to one of these events, you can have a freaking sign that says that.
See, there you go.
They would
See?
probably they would take it from me and ask me to turn my t-shirt inside out, and I would be like, "How dare you? This was $29.95 like lockdownpodcast.com." Uh, so yeah,
Oh.
you know what? With all of these releases and not having work and all of these like redos for Elimination Chamber, I'm just looking at Wikipedia really quickly. Last year's Wikipedia says for Elimination Chamber last year on wikipedia.com .org, it says we had Bianca Belair, we had Liv Morgan, we had Naomi, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton. We're not getting Tiffany Stratton, but we are getting Naomi. We may get Raquel Rodriguez, and we have Liv Morgan. So
So running it back for 2 years in a row is obnoxious.
running it back without there being a
If it
reason
was
to
an
run it back.
elimination chamber
Yeah.
and it was just another fatal four-way, it's whatever. But like that is a trope that I cannot stand.
Yeah, it does get old. However, there are different stakes involved, and it is like the similar thing with Drew McIntyre last year, where he kept winning championship opportunity after championship opportunity, only to get
Screwed over by CM
stopped
Punk.
by CM Punk, which led to a bigger story. Now, if we have some of these same people, we're kind of doing that same thing. What's going to be the story that brings them all together? Because they were all in Elimination Chamber last year, with the exception of Becky Lynch, who still hasn't made her debut yet this year. Bianca Belair is in if I'm
Alexa
on
Bliss wasn't in it either, so
yeah. So we've got
4 out of 6 are basically gonna be repeats.
right. So we could have a different with Raquel Rodriguez versus Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez could get that spot. So we would only then have like 1 or 2 repeats, which only bolsters their legend of being able to get into Elimination Chamber, which is great. If that's
But the roster's changed so much in the last year. Like I don't like it's bad enough we have these repeat matches over and over again on Raw or SmackDown or
Mhm.
a PLE, like, and I get a lot of those repeats were based off of a storyline and having a rubber match and all that stuff like that. There was more to it. But like having the same people in Elimination Chamber is boring. Like we've legitimately increased the roster of NXT stars by probably, I would say 4 to 6 in my head I can think of, that we've had. Now, but you also have Io Sky, who's continually been at, those war games matches and such like that. I think that would be a high flyer I would like to see at Elimination Chamber, but like if we're just running it back, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But I digress. So, speaking of The Miz, so LA Knight and The Miz basically argue over, basically who's going after the United States Championship that Shinsuke has. We're gonna get a Shinsuke versus LA Knight. Obviously, The Miz loses, but like I feel like win or lose, The Miz is just The Miz, and love him or hate him. I mean, he has been with the company pretty injury free for 20 years. So, I mean, respect the longevity. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's your opinion. We all have opinions, and that's just how it goes as the WWE universe. And, I think that's just how it goes. And it's fine. I think there's great jobbers, there's great mid carders, and I wish that creative would break them out of that mold. And I get it. You're just like you're just happy to be there, but like I think the financial toll on the mid card is got to be pretty bad. Like because they're paying for all the transportation, they're paying for hotels, like, and they're not getting paid. Like there's really probably like like I'd probably say 10 men on the current roster that are making 1,000,000 plus. And then I couldn't even imagine what everybody else is making. Like, I don't know the numbers. I don't know, like, I don't think they've really would release the whole depth of what these guys are getting paid, but like, it must suck to be a mid cutter. And honestly, like, I could go work for Amazon. like, like, I just feel like, I mean, it's got a weigh on them because it's just like they don't get opportunities. They don't get opportunities to show what they can do and then be able to be worthy of those payouts. But if creative doesn't do anything for them, and it's like I would really be intrigued to like find out how they really operate in that way. Like how does like are they like working at the PC or something and like just getting really good at what they're doing or like I mean and we obviously have had like the fans weigh in, but like I really want to know how they sit there and like pick apart like who's gonna get an opportunity, who's not, like the picking process because it just seems unfair to because essentially you the top tier people they actually wrestle less, get paid more, while the mid card wrestles all the time and puts themselves at higher risk of injury but never get those top tier payouts. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's a happy to be there and happy to be in wrestling. I'm happy to be performing in front of millions of fans, but you ain't getting paid like it. Um, so speaking of R-Truth,
Hmm.
so Carmelo Hayes is just doing what Carmelo Hayes does. And so gets a match. So Carmelo Hayes and R-Truth, and I love R-Truth and his growing up his hero John Cena and doing all the moves and like oh man, it's good stuff.
The little five knuckle shuffle.
Oh yeah,
It's
that never
he
hit
just
their head.
yeah.
But
John Cena will never die as long as R-Truth is signed with the WWE.
facts. That's absolute facts. Like and what's so crazy is like R-Truth is old, but he
He's like
literally
50 something.
he's 50
Yeah,
something, dude. Like
it's
he is still in peak condition, man. Like I don't know what he's doing besides cracking people in character, but like you know what?
man.
He's in good shape for being 50. I hope when I'm 50, which is 11 years from now, that like I can even say like I'm even in a quarter of that shape. Cuz I'm in A shape more than I'm in shape. Yeah.
Same. Count me in.
And then there's Tim, who has a metabolism and I couldn't find one on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist. They're
Oh
not
goodness.
selling them like they used to.
Nope,
Okay, like
nope. You are so
you know
right.
what? I've tried taking the freaking pills that are supposed to help with it, and ain't nothing helped me.
Nope. Same.
Doesn't. I mean, but then again,
Same.
neither did the Reese's peanut butter cups. But I digress. I can't help I drive all the time and I snack.
Yeah. It's all convenience's fault. So
It-
yeah, Carmelo Hayes beating R-Truth puts him back on a winning streak, gets him out of some of the other feuds that he was going through. And I think it'll put enough distance between him and Andrade to where Carmelo can start like going on and building the feuds that he needs necessary in order
Right.
to start getting, solid
And
championship
yeah,
shots.
I want to see him, as an IC title champion. I want to see him as United States champion. Like, I think he's leagues beyond ever being a top tier, but like, he was the first person drafted. He was number 1 on the draft board last year. So like, give the man some respect. Put some respect on his name. Yeah, yeah, Mandy, go ahead. You're gonna tell me I stole your phrase too, dumbass. Um, anyways, but this is probably one of the potential matches I see for Elimination Chamber. So Tiffany Stratton basically got to run it back with Nia Jax. And in typical fashion, so Tiffany wins via disqualification. Thanks, Candice LeRae. I'm surprised Nia Jax is not pissed because that was her shot, and Candice LeRae fucked it up. So I'm like, I wish there was. I hope on Friday we get some kind of reaction. But so Trish Stratus is in the crowd. Um, Basically interjects with Candice and Nia trying to beat the crap out of Tiffany Stratton. I see this at Elimination Chamber because when they talked to Trish Stratus, they were like, she's like, yeah, I'll be at Elimination Chamber. I don't know if I'll be in the crowd or in the ring. Now, that's a pretty hefty hint considering it's in Toronto, her home country. So I see Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, which would be like the biggest dream match for Tiffany Stratton because, Trish is top tier. She's on the Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling,
Well,
period.
definitely 100%.
So I think, I hope this match happens. And I hope Trish and Tiffany Stratton win, which I think from the threads I've read, it's going to be an easy dub if they have that match. Now, it could be maybe on the Friday before the event. I would prefer it to be at the Elimination Chamber, but yeah. But then where does the fourth match? What's that? What would the fourth match be? Like, there's been things of like Sammy and Kevin, but that ain't happening. They've listed the laundry list of things that happened to Sammy, and so he's definitely going to be on the shelf for at least the foreseeable, probably month. Shit, Randy's been out for months, so I hope he comes back.
I think he's only taking some time off to be with his family.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and we don't know if
he's
he may have re-injured his back or anything like that, right? So yeah, just like Tim said, he's probably taking some extra time off to be with his family.
With his
There's probably
smoking
not a lot
hot
of
wife,
He
yeah.
might been having some issues with the back, and they're probably like, okay, we don't want to rush this. Let's not mess
Well,
anything up.
it was a way to have him get played off TV without like really injuring it for real. It's like the same thing with Jade Cargill. Maybe she's got some other stuff going on. Like that's the trope of WWE where it's like, oh well, they got to go do this, this, and this. Let's play them off TV.
That's pretty much
It-
how they write them out.
Yeah, and that's a recipe I'm fine with because like you got to think these guys are on the road literally years.
Yeah, 365 days a year.
They might come home for 2 to 3 days a month, probably, if that. So giving anybody time off is like, dude, let him be a dad. Even AJ, when AJ was written off TV, he had literally talked up and down about like, I want to be a dad, I want to go home, I want to be with my kids, blah blah blah. And so I think justifiable time off for some of the wrestlers, I think is, and honestly, you need to rejuvenate anyways. No one's in that ring at 100%, period.
No.
Like, you know, when you're injured, you're injured. My shoulder I hurt 4 years ago, and I'm still dealing with it. So
Mm.
like
Same with my neck and my back.
my neck, sorry. And then Frederick's face says it all. But so speaking of, we do have, Charlotte comes out in her, I don't know, like
Some weird freaking
her
outfit.
Hillary Clinton pantsuit, but and so basically, so now we're getting Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. So basically, whoever wins the women's elimination chamber, best of luck.
Mm.
like,
Facts.
like, I honestly see someone winning and still losing at WrestleMania because I Rhea Ripley's too hot right now, literally and figuratively.
Mm.
So, I mean, it would suck. At least you would get a main event. That's one more than CM Punk. Oh, come on! It's true. I'm spitting facts, Tim. I know.
Oh, I know you are, but
You know what?
You know what?
He'll
Don't
get it.
rile up Tim. He's taller than you, and that means he has a longer reach.
And he has a snake behind him.
Exactly. You want to wake up with that in
Gonna
your bed?
frickin' Jake the Snake Roberts over here.
Yeah, it's moving around.
I know. I've been seeing him behind you, and I'm just like, oh, he's gonna eat me.
Yeah, as I say, she's been moving around. She's 9 feet and I think 3-4 inches.
Mm.
Coolly. Maybe if you get bit by him, you can be Snake Man.
Mm.
You don't want to get bit. That sucker hurts. I've been bit by that damn thing twice.
I know. I seen the
You
most
know,
recent time.
just follow me. Hey, do you guys remember that match that Sting had with Jake the Snake Roberts in WCW, and it was for Halloween Havoc,
Yeah.
spin the wheel, make the deal,
Yeah.
and he had the snake, and then the cameraman and the questionable, like, in truck, like, calling of which cameras to show, it distinctly show like Jake the Snake trying to get the snake to bite his face so they can have a spot of the snake hanging from Jake's face. Do you guys remember that?
I do.
I do not.
I do.
I'm gonna find that.
Now I'm gonna Google it after we
As I
record.
say, I remember that because I used to watch WCW.
Oh,
I kind of to this day I kind of wish WCW was still around because I enjoyed it.
You know what? I would not be mad if after a handful of years WWE acquires TNA and changes the name of TNA to WCW.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
If
mean,
that'll happen,
it would sound good in retro, in the spirit of WCW, but I feel like, TNA just got done going back to TNA, so I mean,
as I say, I've been to like one
I mean,
WCW show.
now what I wouldn't be against is that, so when you had WCW, basically, what was it, like the takeover of WWF or whatever?
Oh,
Now,
the Alliance.
yeah. So this is pipe dream, but if they had a deal with AEW or something, and down the road when they're a little bit more polished product, to have like a collision like that or something, and maybe lead to a Survivor Series would be like WWE versus AEW or something.
That would be cool.
Right.
Just for good TV.
Right.
Because that would honestly give AEW a boost anyways. They're already on the bottom tier of the ladder. So any
It'll
extra boost
get a
they
lot
can
more
get.
eyes on their product too.
Yeah, well, because that's what they're trying to do with TNA too, though, is because you're getting kind of an NXT TNA crossover, and so you're gonna get more, they're gonna do. They've had some matches from NXT wrestlers going to TNA, and kind of getting more eyes on the product. And I wouldn't be against them, honestly, just flat out acquiring TNA and still leaving it as TNA, but then
Yeah.
let wrestlers cross over.
Yeah, having it as another developmental yeah, I wouldn't be mad either way. I
Yeah,
would just be like, you know what, they're
it's good for
expanding.
business.
Yeah.
So we have basically the end of SmackDown. You have Damian Priest, Braun Strowman, and Jacob Fatu in a triple threat to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And holy Mary Mother, like that was an intense match. Like it's crazy enough with Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu, and then you throw Damian Priest in there, and he's given South of Heaven choke slams to anybody who will step to him. Like, I mean, obviously, so he ends up winning. So obviously, he's the fifth person in Elimination Chamber. This speaks volumes for me for Damian Priest. Like, these are the kind of pushes that you want in WWE, you know, knocking off not only Braun Strowman, who's been a staple for, you know, quite a long time, and then you have the upstart, you know, Jacob Fatu. Obviously, he's not an upstart, but newer to WWE. But like,
Hmm.
you know, and to basically have him win against those two guys, like that spoke volumes of how good Damian Priest is. Like, I mean, that was a banger of a match.
Oh,
Like
I
that
watched that match.
Yeah,
that match.
I saw a little clips of it, and Jacob Fatu just getting the opportunity to be very athletic and being very active, and Damian Priest really selling for him. I think adds to just the legend of Jacob Fatu just being an absolute beast. I think it really works. Kudos to everybody who really like gave of themselves to give Jacob Fatu like the torch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can just tell like the way that Damien was selling. Braun was doing a good job selling. So yeah,
Well, and I
yeah.
think this did for Damian Priest what Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther did. Right? Like it
Hmm.
was a hell of a match, but it catapulted Gunther into where he is now. And I really honestly I would love to see Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes. Like because one, he kind of just moved over to the brand. And so I don't think he's had too much interaction with Cody Rhodes. Now, obviously, Elimination Chamber is legitimately stacked. I mean, it's Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, CM Punk, and I'm guessing Seth Rollins. I wouldn't be against Finn Balor, but I feel like I I'd rather see Seth Rollins than Finn Balor. But however it goes, I'm good with it. I really, as long as
We
Logan
we
Paul
we,
doesn't win, I'm
we
good.
all know Seth Rollins is going to be in it because you got CM Punk in there.
You know, but like I don't want it to be this we know John Cena's gonna win. Like because CM Punk needs this more than anybody else. Like legitimately, Damien's been at, headlined WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre's headlined WrestleMania. John Cena's headlined WrestleMania. CM Punk has him. And I think as much as it pains me, because I'm not like anti CM Punk, but I think like this would be good for him. And if he goes, I want him to win because I want him to be 1-1 in WrestleMania main events. You know, and
I
just because
Yeah.
it's been 20 plus years of him, I mean, I guess, 10, 12 with WWE and whatever the outcome is, but like it's been a long time and he's never had that WrestleMania main event. And I think it means more to him than anybody else.
you know I'm still salty about how his last place of work went. However, I think CM Punk has more time to have his WrestleMania year than others. So I don't necessarily need to see CM Punk this year. Do I want to see CM Punk just so I can push CM Punk out of my vocabulary and my wrestling
You know,
experiences? Yeah,
but
but
like if
I don't want it to be rushed. I want CM Punk to have the appropriate stories and the appropriate vehicle to get him to those goals and let it fulfill whatever is necessary to be able to write CM Punk off into the sunset.
so then do you think being that John Cena is on his Adios tour, um, do you think let's just say Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre wins, right? Or whoever they have in there, Seth Rollins or Finn Balor. One of those three win, right? Now, if it's John Cena's last hoorah, we know we're going to get CM Punk and John Cena at some point. Like, and if he doesn't, CM Punk doesn't win, I definitely see John Cena CM Punk at WrestleMania.
No, I
Like,
don't see that.
I
Nope.
do. I
I see
do.
CM Punk and John Cena as John Cena's last match. And that will carry that momentum of that win of CM Punk beating John Cena will carry CM Punk into WrestleMania season to the Royal Rumble
So do
high
you
on
think it's
that.
it's the catapult at the end?
Yeah, for CM Punk. CM Punk beating John Cena, CM Punk getting his WrestleMania run, his WrestleMania main event, whether he wins or loses, that's purely on creative.
I mean, I guess
But
that makes sense. That
for
sounds about
me,
that's
I John Cena wins at WrestleMania. John Cena has his championship. John Cena does his championship run or whatever have you. It's not a long run. Don't get me started. I think WrestleMania to
well, if
no
he's not going to
no
show up,
longer.
every remotely,
I
like
you
I
know
don't
what
even care if he even does anything.
I you know what I don't care. I don't care. I
But
think John Cena. You know what I'm. The more I think about it and hear arguments for John Cena having his type of farewell run in the WWE way, the more I am pro. Let John Cena do John Cena stuff. It would it be
I
nice to
say
see
he's
him?
gonna win.
Yeah, would it be nice to see him like every week? Yeah, but then you go back to the other side of that argument. Oh, he's on TV every week. When he's gonna be over and having that argument? You know what? Let it stay the course. Whatever they are able to work out, let it work out.
I
Just
mean,
just
I
like The
think
Rock, just like
I
The Rock
mean,
now. The Rock has been able to come in and call his shots. Let John Cena be able to do the same. Let CM Punk earn the ability to do the same and let those three working legends, when they work, ride off into the sunset within the next 18 months. Um, that way, we don't have anything keeping us in the way outside of AJ Styles and a Finn Balor, excuse me, that would stop us from growing the talent that we have now.
John Cena does have unfinished business too. Like if let's go back in the time machine. So let's see if we can. I'm gonna quiz you guys. So which NXT star came and beat John Cena on his first time on the
Kevin
roster?
Owens.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens. That's when Kevin
So
Owens was the NXT champion and John Cena was the United States champion.
so I see given Kevin Owens' hot head right now, I definitely see a John Cena Kevin Owens match. Like whether it's, you know, after WrestleMania or like somewhere in between. But like I think the CM Punk last match, I think that makes sense. Just to kind of catapult him into the next year.
Let's say
Um,
for CM for CM Punk for when it comes to WrestleMania, he is one one and oh 1-3 losses at WrestleMania, I think.
well, Jey Uso's only beat Drew McIntyre or no, is it Sammy? Has
But
Sammy's never beat Drew
I
McIntyre.
was
so-
at CM Punk's first ever WrestleMania.
Oh, look at you and your flex.
Yeah. When it was just a one night event.
And that's when I fell in love with CM Punk.
No, I've been to CM Punk since
I-
the fucking Ring of Honor.
Oh, I'm just rustling feathers. But
I know
so
you are. You're good
I'm
at it.
I've perfected the craft. But so we have 2 inductees to the Hall of Fame currently, which it was kind of cool how it happened. So Triple H or so Shawn Michaels and Undertaker came out and basically they're like, "Oh, we're going to, induct Triple H as himself, not, part of DX." And then not much longer after, Undertaker and his wife were, I don't know if it was on ESPN or something, but
I think it was.
and so Triple H was on there, and he's like, "Oh, well, by the way, we're gonna induct, Michelle McCool." So like, I think honestly, this is gonna pretty cool Hall of Fame. I mean, just those
I'm
2
gonna
alone.
toss one name in there. They better toss freaking Bray Wyatt in there.
Oh yeah, I think that one's already. I think that's a dead ringer. I mean,
They need to, because they didn't do it last year. They need to do it this year.
Yeah, I mean, but like his dad and uncle talked about him, but like, yeah, I definitely think that should happen. I really don't, I mean, like, because there's just thousands of different people they could toss in there. So like, I haven't really seen any rumors about who else is gonna go.
Me neither. I've been looking up who rumors that who people think is going to be in there. I know Bray Wyatt was one of them, and there was one other one that I seen. Oh, I know John Cena was another one. They wanted to toss him in there because how he's retiring.
Yeah, I
So
don't think John Cena needs to go this year.
the rumors are Bray Wyatt, Gail Kim, the Hardy Boys, Mickey James, and Batista. Because that we did have Batista get it, he was supposed to be on it, but it was during the pandemic era, so I think we might get a Batista.
Yeah, he didn't want to be put in the Hall of Fame in the pandemic era. He wants a live audience, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I mean, they usually only have like 1 female and then like 4 men usually.
I don't know.
I mean,
They got to put him in there, man.
So I mean, so you're looking at Triple H, Bray Wyatt, you have Michelle McCool. So there's 3. There's usually like 5. So 5 or 6.
Let's just say if they do another woman like Gail Kim, I'll be okay with it. She's down to earth, awesome person. I got to talk to her a couple times when she was in TNA. Yeah. She's cool.
I mean, so I
hope she has. Yeah, I hope she's let the animosity that she's had with the WWE go, or she's put it aside for this recognition and this in celebration, if that is what they're going to do, because she was very, very vocal and very anti WWE because of her treatment with the previous regime. So,
I mean, I feel like if Scott Steiner can get over it, I feel like about anybody can get over it. I mean,
there are reasons why Scott Steiner.
Well, yeah, I mean, with females, it's a whole different monster just because you have all the current nonsense going on. But like
with a certain someone,
yeah, with a certain someone, first name Vin, last name Man. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd be scared to say
that
his
keeps
name,
dyeing his hair different, fucking darker black.
Yeah,
with a whole almost Hitler style mustache going.
No, it looks like Dom's, just a little bit this thinner. But no, I mean, I I wouldn't be against them, honestly. Like, I think if you're gonna do Triple H, he's the headliner. So like you're gonna have secondary
It's gonna say
the
he's
rest
gonna
of
be
the
the
way
last.
through. So like if they were gonna do it, it would be like they would have, you know,
Okay,
probably one person come out.
who do you think is gonna induct Triple H? I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, 100%.
I would not be surprised if it's not.
Or his wife.
It might be Shawn and Shawn and Undertaker.
Yeah, I was going to show you Shawn and Undertaker. Yeah.
Nope. Shane McMahon comes back.
Oh God!
Oh
no,
my
please,
gosh.
no.
Yeah.
Here comes the money. Oh, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, I don't think anybody would.
Or maybe that certain someone.
Mm.
Yeah, no, hell is not frozen over yet. So like, it took CM Punk 10 years to come back. He's only been gone for about 2 years, about a year. So he's
Yeah, something like that.
the water is not frozen yet. Okay, so but yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think they'll definitely. I would say after Elimination Chamber, kind of start putting things together more. As far as
They might do another announce either tomorrow. They usually do a lot more of the announcing of the Hall of Fames on Raw.
yeah. I mean, although it's kind of cool to see it after SmackDown though in Texas, though that was kind of cool. Got to see the Undertaker inducted. That was
Oh,
dope.
I know. I can admit it. I teared up.
Dude, I was holding my
so
phone for a solid
fucking
hour.
happy. Oh, I recorded that his whole speech. His
Oh
whole
yeah.
entrance.
Oh, dude, my hand was like in the same position for like an hour. It was.
Yeah, they let that dude talk. They let him talk.
Well, I mean, like everybody else got like 6 minutes, and it was legitimately like 10 minutes of everybody saying, "Undertaker, you deserve it." Like,
And he
it
couldn't
was,
even speak. It was like at least maybe a half hour before he even got a chance to get a word out. Maybe.
I mean, I mean, but like well deserved though. I mean, there's just those staple people of WWE, WWF, whatever generation it was that just are those staple guys. I mean,
Hey, we were there WrestleMania when Triple H put his boots in the ring and retired.
yeah, but we also had to listen to Queen Charmel.
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
Oh, cut it out.
God, her speech sucked.
It was bad.
I could have went and took a shit and it would have been a lot better.
You know what? Stop. No one here is going to give an amazing speech. Nobody.
I was gonna fall asleep.
Well, you should have.
He was definitely.
I was razzing up the crowd, dude.
Steph was definitely pissing off the people behind us.
I was absolutely riling up the crowd behind us, and it was great.
Oh God, they were getting pissed.
It was great. I told you it's been a lifelong craft of pissing people off. It's great.
Then when they came out at WrestleMania, you're fucking booing her, and more people were getting pissed.
I mean, we were far up, so no one really, I just thought it was funny on night one when we just like moved over like 3 sections.
Yeah, because it
wasn't sold out.
It wasn't even. Yeah, it was half dead in there.
Yeah,
but night 2 was a little bit more.
Yeah,
crowded.
we were still kind of, but I mean, we had the giant Tron to watch, so I mean, it was like sitting at home, but we were there. Like that screen is ginormous.
But it really night 1, anytime the wrestlers came out, they showed them up on the TV screen. But night 2, nope.
Oh yeah, dude, that pissed me off.
Yeah, they started out with it was the women's championship match when
I don't know who it was, but
yeah, they showed them up on there, and then after that,
yeah, and then they stopped showing it. It was really annoying. I mean, I will say, like that one DJ that they have play all those things, like that guy has got to be getting paid pretty decent.
But all I could say, if it ever goes back there to Dallas, whoever has those fucking lights that were so bright, Oh my god! Everybody was chanting, "Turn off the lights." It was so freaking bright. Yeah, it's like
It was so bright.
it's like damn. It's
Oh.
like a
But
semi bright lights.
I did get to talk to Rick Boogs like a couple years ago when the last time we were here, and so well no I guess the
It was
second to last time.
the SmackDown that pretty much almost ended Randy Orton's career.
Well, no, I was saying is I got to talk to Rick Boogs because I gave him the Uber the one time, and we were exchanging like the whole like surgery stories and everything else. And I was like, yeah, we were at the WrestleMania when you just freaking buckled the fuck out of your leg. And he's like, dude, you have no idea how much swearing I was doing as I was getting literally carted off.
Oh, I believe it. I
Oh,
watched a video of them wheeling him out. He was definitely swearing.
poor Rick Boogs.
Did they let him go, or he's still with WWE?
Oh,
yeah,
he's been gone.
Oh, yeah, he's been gone for a while. Yeah.
I want to know what the hell he's been up to.
I don't
Probably
know.
not. You probably don't.
He's probably
I
back
mean-
there still pumping up. Yeah.
I mean, Fandango came to NXT last Tuesday, but he's under the name JDC. But it was funny because they played Fandango's music when he first came out, and then the second time he came out, they played his TNA music. But so it was kind of funny. He kind of came out and like he's still in pretty good freaking shape. He cut his hair though, which
is
he doesn't look as goofy.
yeah.
But anywho, but we'll put a pin because we could talk forever and then people wouldn't listen to the last half hour of the show. But could edit out the last 20 minutes. But anyways, but we'll see what happens tomorrow on Monday Night Raw. We'll see what happens Friday. Obviously now we have our main events for the men and women, so at least we have 2 out of the 4. So we'll see what becomes this week, and then obviously I think it's March 1st, so that's what 1, 2. So next week when we record, it'll be the go home show into Elimination Chamber. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about Elimination Chamber and how good it was and how whatever else happened, and we dog on it before it comes out, and then you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So that's WWE for you. You don't have to, you don't like it in the moment, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's good entertainment. At least it's real. Ooh, be all salty about that because these guys are actually athletic. Okay, so I want to see LeBron jump off the top rope. Yeah.
No, he would break everything.
He'd flop off the top rope. Anyways, I digress. So I look forward to seeing what's going to happen. We will see you guys next week with more vitriol, more pipe dreams, more absolute nonsense. This is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.